Okay, let's talk about leading truthfully in political and complex environments as an Opal leader. Okay? Some environments punish truth more than they punish failure. And once you have lived inside or worked inside one of these complex environments, you can spot it immediately. People stop saying what they see. And not because they don't care, but because the system has consequences for being honest. Truth gets you labeled, truth gets you isolated, truth gets you managed. So people adapt and they shift into protective communication styles. They start speaking in safe language. They learn to stay positive and they learn to describe symptoms and not the causes. Here is what is actually happening beneath the surface of the organization, though. The organization becomes emotionally invested in a version of reality that feels manageable. So the moment that someone decides to or names what is real, the constraint, the risk, the misalignment, it doesn't land as information, it lands as a threat. And not always a threat to the mission, but to someone's authority, timeline, image, control, whatever it may be. So constraints stop getting named, and the truth stays unspoken, and alignment becomes performative because everyone is internally negotiating what they're allowed to say out loud. And the organization begins to drift quietly until problems begin to compound and become unavoidable. Leading truthfully doesn't mean being harsh or being loud. It means refusing to build a business strategy on a lie. Because in complex systems, the fastest way to lose trust is to sugarcoat reality and to avoid naming constraints and pretend that alignment exists when it doesn't. And this is typically where leaders often wake up, and it's often too late. You realize your exhaustion isn't from the work, but it's from living a double life. One version of the truth lives in your head while another version gets spoken out loud in meetings. You're managing outcomes and also managing the emotional consequences of reality. And this is the moment that Opal leadership becomes necessary, not as a style, but as a stabilizing discipline. Opal leadership is calm truth-telling, okay? It's naming what's real, stabilizing the field, and making decisions based on reality. Not optics, because optics might buy time, yes, but only truth builds stability. And truth doesn't create instability. If you're in healthcare, you already know that avoidance does. Avoidance doesn't stay internally. It comes out and shows up externally. And it shows up as burnout, as turnover, as patient dissatisfaction, as denials, as safety events, as incident reports. The list goes on, breakdowns and execution. But when you remove the emotional charge of the situation, the blame, the performance of it all, you return your team to reality. And that is where real decisions can finally be made. Okay, in part 2, I'm going to walk you through the 7-step process to lead truthfully in a political system without triggering chaos so that you can move your work forward with clarity and integrity. And I'll drop the link in the comments. Okay.